Hi, everyone. Welcome to another workshop on how to use artificial intelligence. This is being presented by, let me see. This is being presented by the Brain Injury Association of Waterloo-Wellington, and this is a funded project by the Ontario Trillium Foundation. Today, we're going to be looking at an outline of what artificial intelligence can do. We are going to review safety while using AI. We're going to look at a step-by-step guide, break down the different prompts that we use, how we choose a task to get folks started. And we're going to use it with some visual examples from a particular application. We're going to review again the importance of saving your documentation, and we can run through a few different modification examples, okay? So again, what can artificial intelligence do? It can help us create, it can help us problem solve, it can help us brainstorm, it can summarize for us, it can become our tutor if we need it to, it can help create images and art depending on what our need is. It can also help explain complex topics. So these are all things, if someone's wondering how or what they're used for in our everyday lives, these are things that can be done to enhance something that we might already need to do. We might already need to look through a particular document. We can ask it to summarize it. If we're writing something, we can have AI proofread for us. Okay, so this is just to get us started on what it can be useful for. We always want to reiterate the safety. We want to make sure that when we're using any type of application, that we are protecting our personal and private information, that we're not just giving it away freely. Okay, we want to check and verify that the application we're using is a legit one and not a fake AI tool that's taking us to a offsite use. We want to be cautious when we are downloading or uploading a specific file or file sharing. Okay, we want to understand what the limitations are, what it can and can't do. So if we're if we want it to create something, we want to make sure that we're aware of copyright infringements, things like that. And we want to make sure that we continue to use strong passwords for things that are personal and are private and our own documents, and that we want to log out after session so it's not remains open, especially if we're using public technology like laptops and computers. Okay, the one thing we want to reiterate is that AI, artificial intelligence, is here to help us, but we are still the gatekeepers of our personal information. We can't just blindly trust that an organization or a company will keep our personal and private information safe. We still need to do things to make sure that we are protecting ourselves. Okay, what we're going to do is break down some of the steps we've talked about in a previous workshop with different types of examples, because we realize that we can say, pick a type of task, but if we don't give examples, it might not be too clear. So that's what we're going to do in the next couple slides. So we're going to look at how we go about utilizing AI in an application. And the first thing is to kind of decide on what we want to do. What type of task do we want to pick? Do we want to write an email to someone? And this, example here is write an email to an overseas relative. Do we want to translate a document into another language? Are we looking to create something like a play or a script or a book, and we want to brainstorm ideas? Okay. The next thing is, once we've decided on what we want to do, the task, we're going to pick the appropriate AI application. And part of this is maybe we put this in a search engine like Google and say, hey, Google, what AI application is best to use for writing an email or translating a document or to create a picture, right? So examples, some of the AI applications, there's things like ChatGPT or Siri or Google Search or Gamma that's looking at right, like the writing component, and we can then look to see if those are going to be helpful for the email, the translation, or the brainstorm. Step number 3, once we've decided on our task, once we've picked our AI application, we're going to look at opening the application and finding that search box, that chat box, that area where we're going to put the input. We're going to place the prompt. Okay. So each platform is slightly different. What we're using today, the example that we're going to show you is Chat GPT and its visual display. So for this particular program, ChatGPT, it's a relatively new one, but it's one that is a very commonly used application for AI. This is generally used to create written text or brainstorm, write reports, things like that. Okay. What it does is it searches the internet for all available written text or information, statistics, papers. It works like an encyclopedia, really, right? And it gathers the relevant information for us. So this one is being used quite frequently. Okay. The setup on the application is very plain. What you see here in this particular slide is what you get. It's a white background, typically, very, very simple. It's not fancy formatting with graphics. It literally is a chat box where you get to input either written or with the microphone down at the bottom. You can verbally indicate or ask your question. Okay. The next step in the process is type in your prompt or verbalize your prompt, right? The speech to text. We've picked a writing example to show you or highlight the capabilities of this particular app. So again, we're using Chat GPT and we are asking it a prompt on writing. So the prompt that we're inputting is write a short motivational quote about learning new skills. Okay, and we've written this one, but of course we can use speech to text with the little microphone application and speak into our device and have it come up with the result for us. Okay. Once we've indicated our prompt and submitted it, it would look something like this. It would show our prompt, written or verbalized, okay? And then it would like give us an answer, okay? So if we're using the speech to text, it would vocalize the answer, it would read it out for us. And if we're writing in our text, it would have it in words on the screen. Okay, so this is what it would look. It would say, of course, here's a short motivational quote about learning new skills, and it would give us one. And this is the one it gave us. Now, what we end up doing is we read the response or listen to the response and figure out if it's what we wanted. Does it meet our needs? Is it what we expected? Or should we try again? Okay. In this particular application, it gives us a prompt. It does it for us. He says to us, would you like more options to choose from? So it's asking us, does it want to give us more than one example of a motivational quote? Okay. So we can then decide whether, you know what, I like that quotation. I'm going to save it. That's the one I want. I'm going to keep that. Okay. Or we say, I don't really like that one. I'm going to modify, or I'm going to ask for more information, or I'm going to clarify, or I'm going to ask for something new. Okay. So in this particular one, when we're still using ChatGPT, and of course you can use other platforms as well, like Siri, Google Search, or Gamma, what we've done is we've asked a new question. We said, please take the following motivational quote, learning something new today and plants the seeds for tomorrow's success, which was the quotation, and put it into written text to describe how this can apply to learning AI. Okay, so absolutely, here's a short explanation describing how the quote applies to learning AI. Okay, so it's taken a very complicated prompt and it's given us an answer. So we did this as an example just to show some of its capabilities, whether it's useful or not, or for, you know, whether we're ever going to use a quotation that applies to AI learning. I don't know, but I thought it would be neat for the particular workshop. So this is what it's given us, okay? It said, absolutely. Here's a short explanation. Learning something new today, and it spits out the answer. So this is what it showed on the ChatGPT. Learning something new today plants the seeds for tomorrow's success. Okay, and it continues on. And this is especially true when it comes to using AI. By taking the time now to explore how AI tools work, practicing how to write clear prompts, experimenting with different types of requests, and understanding how AI can support your goals, you're investing in skills that will grow more valuable over time. Okay, and it continues on. So this is a fun way that we can use AI. It gives us a written response, a prompt, something that we can ask to use voice to text, and it'll speak it out to us. But this is a way that we can use it to write and create something that we want. So this is a fun way of showing you how ChatGPT, that particular application, works. Okay. If we liked that explanation, we could save it. Or if we're like, no, too long, don't want it to be that long, shorten it and modify it to 3 sentences max. We can ask that and modify our prompt using written format or speech to text. And of course, we can repeat that step as many times as we like until we get what we'd like to use. Okay, so when we're setting up prompts for different applications, think about ways we can ask questions. Okay, so can you help me with? Write a letter to. Provide me a checklist for. Explain this in plain language. Act as a role. You know, it can be a tutor, it could be a playwright, it could be a doctor, it could be a scientist, it could be a teacher, and help me with, right? We can also say, you know, summarize this for me. All right. So these are the types of prompts we can use. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list. You can come up with your own. And then once we have what we like or we'd like to utilize, remember to save it, because it might not be, doesn't always automatically save, or it might not save the version you like. Some of the applications now over time have started to have a save option, especially if you've paid for a particular application. So sometimes the free version doesn't save it. Sometimes when you log into the application and you have set up your own profile, it allows you to save to your particular profile, right? So then you can go back in time. But make sure that application that you're working on does that. And if not, save it, okay? Take a screenshot if you're on your smartphone, create a folder or a link to deposit on your technology device. Okay, and this is the time we're going to look at trying out some of the different applications. So if you're wanting to see what ChatGPT is all about, we encourage you to open up the application and we can ask it a question. Okay, so thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, Flora.